I don't think I Sunday morning. Get that spin when time we walking.
Yeah. You know I love you like cook food. And what a good dude. If you riding with me, baby, ain't no way you could lose. Welcome to the winning team. You could tell me anything and everything will be alright. You could stay with me tonight. Good if that's what you would like. Take a real woman, make her home feel warm inside. Promise I won't bite unless you got it. Appetite, the thought of you keep my mouth watering, can't even lie. Got me feeling for a slice of that apple pie. You the apple in my eye.
WhatsApp us or call us at 457-9997. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
Alrighty, so we are back with you for another segment of our Activating Mornings program. And as mentioned previously, we will be conducting an interview with Mr. Grenville Williams, the ULP's candidate for the South Leeward seat. Mr. Williams, good morning and welcome back to the studios of WEFM.
Good morning, Roleza. Good morning, Dianna. Good morning, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And good morning, South Leeward.
All right. Rest of the region, rest of the world. Yeah, all right. All right. So we are going to head right into it. Our interview with and Doc. Doc is, oh gosh, Doc, we nearly forget you. Good morning, Doc, who is Doc, tell us where you are, if you choose to disclose where you are. Doc? Okay, Doc, we're not hearing. Doc?
No, I'm not hearing.
All right. Okay, we're not hearing you. No, we're not hearing you. We're not hearing you clearly, Doc. So maybe go out and try to come back in, and maybe that would help. I think that's my voice. All right. All right. So let's get into it. How are you?
I am well on this morning, and I hope that you are too, because this location of the studio is very beautiful. Not just because it's in South Leeward, but in fact, it is. You know, it gives you a sort of panoramic view of the South Leeward area as well as some of the Grenadines. But it's a fantastic view, and this morning is a beautiful one as well.
Okay. All right. So we have Doc. Let's play this again, Doc. No, we're not hearing you clearly. We're not hearing you clearly, Doc. Oh, all right, we're not hearing you clearly. All right, so let's proceed. All right, so Grenville Williams, who are you?
All right, thank you very much for that question. What I would say, Grenville Williams, well, that's the name, of course, but also I'm a person who believes in transformation. I'm a person who believes in excellence. I'm a person who believes in making a difference and being a person of value to others. In that case, I have put forward myself as a person who wants to represent South Leeward, who wants to represent St. Vincent and the Grenadines at the highest level, and that is within the Parliament of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And I say at the highest level because I have represented St. Vincent for most of my career. I started out in private practice, but I stayed there for only 1 year. Then I transitioned to the national security agenda by joining an organization that focused on law enforcement and the judicial system. Subsequently, I traveled overseas and joined the regional security system that looks at national security from a regional standpoint. So the RSS serves 7 member countries. It's actually 8 now, because since I left, Guyana became a member of the regional security system. And in 2022, November, I returned to St. Vincent and the Grenadines and currently serve in the position of the Attorney General for this country. But my objective is to offer further service to the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and specifically the people of South Leeward.
Okay. All right. So I note that in 2015, you had thrown you were being considered for the South Leeward seat, right? You were not successful at that time. Why has your interest maintained in the ULP? And why are you vying for the representative for South Leeward?
My interest in the ULP. That's a very long story, since I would have to give you all of the accomplishments of the party, and which is the main reason why I would say that I am a supporter of the ULP in particular. But 2015, 2014, 2015, yes, I give an indication that I am interested in competing for the position of the flag bearer for the ULP in South Leeward. It was not my time, therefore I was not selected as the candidate for the 2015 election. But I believe life is about a journey, and sometimes disappointments allow you an opportunity to grow, to learn, to develop, to become better equipped to deliver service. And I believe that disappointment in 2015 served such a purpose. For example, it allowed me to go to the regional security system, where I was able to engage with 7 nations. I was able to meet with ministers of national there was an opportunity for you to transition into secondary school. And if not, then you exited the system. But here we have a situation where at the age of 11, you're making a determination as to someone's future by not affording them a secondary education and future opportunities. The ULP made a significant transformational change by making secondary education available to every student. So whether you were successful at the common entrance, now known as the CPEA, you were given a place in secondary school. That transformed the life of many students, that transformed the life of many families. Going into secondary school, you now had an opportunity to do your CXCs and your CSEC. And if you were successful, you went on to what is now the community college. When I graduated in the 90s, the community college was non-existent. It was part of the St. Vincent Grammar School, and you had less than 200 students and a limited number of study areas to focus on at the grammar school A levels, as it was called then. This party again made a significant investment in education by opening up the community college. Now you have perhaps just about 2,000 students at the community college. That is a significant opportunity for our young people. And the subject areas are wide and varied. And if you did very well at your CSEC or your CXC, the government also made a contribution to you of $500 where you pass your maths and your English, which are 2 core subjects and very important for your future engagement in the education system. Following on from that, there was even more significant change. And this is where we could really change the economy and the social standing of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. When I graduated, there were 4 island scholars or scholarships available. I was fortunate to get one of them. But what about the other students who had just as much potential or even greater potential? If they did not come from a background where their parents or parent could afford to send them to university, that was the end of their education at that time. Now you have a situation where there are numerous island scholars, there are bursaries. We have relations with countries such as Taiwan where you can go to study. And there are a number of persons from this community of South Leeward studying in Taiwan. One family alone in the Vermont Valley, there are 2 persons studying engineering in Taiwan at this time. That's a significant accomplishment. We've had long relations with Cuba, and we've had many students going to Cuba. You can get a scholarship there. We have relations with Russia, Romania, Morocco, and there are a number of other places where scholarships are provided. And if you do not go to one of these countries, there are tuition scholarships made available to Vincentians. Just this year, there were about 2,000 people who applied for the tuition scholarships. And every single one of those individuals, they were approved for this tuition scholarship, which means that university education is much more affordable for them. In addition to that, there is the disadvantaged student loan program. If you're from a challenged background, you can apply to the facility, and where you're successful, again, you're assisted in funding your university education. Why is that so important? Because education transforms an economy. Roleza, Dianna, you would not be sitting in here had it not been for education, because this nation would certainly not want to be listening to the uneducated, and you would not have the skills, competencies, and the capacity to communicate and dialogue with the nation. That's just one example. But throughout the length and breadth of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we have seen a significant improvement in the economy simply because of the focus of this government on education. And this is not education for the elite. This is not education for a few. This is education across the length and breadth of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It doesn't matter if you're from Chateaubriand, if you're from Fancy, if you're from Union Island, Beckway, Mustique, wherever it is, Canouan, you could access education because of the avenues made available by this government. And that's just education. If we look at infrastructure, this government has made a significant investment in the infrastructure of this country. And I want to focus on 2 projects in particular. The airport is the single most significant investment in infrastructure in this country. In excess of $700 million has been invested in building the Argyle International Airport. Why is that important? Because before that, we had E.T. Joshua Airport, and we had limited air access to the world. We had very small planes coming here, planes that could only travel. If you wanted to go to Toronto, you had to overnight in Barbados, Trinidad, Antigua, or another country. If you wanted to go to New York, you had to overnight in another jurisdiction similarly. If you wanted to go to London, you had to do the same thing. By investing in the airport and opening this airport on Valentine's Day, 14th of February 2017, we made St. Vincent and the Grenadines more accessible to the world. So if you have a relative in New York, maybe they haven't come home for a long time because of the complexity of traveling to St. Vincent. But with the opening of the Argyle International Airport, you can come to St. Vincent in a single day. That's Vincentian. But look at someone who is coming here for a vacation, someone who's coming here as a tourist. Before, you had to take a complicated route to get to St. Vincent. Now it is much easier. And that would fuel economic development again. And we see the advent of that with the development of Sandals, which allows a significant number of Vincentians to be employed. Sandals has an extensive marketing program. So St. Vincent itself is now placed at the footsteps of persons around the globe because of the advertising of Sandals. That is made possible because of the investment in the Argyle International Airport. We also have Holiday Inn, and we have other properties that are being developed and expanded. It means that we are creating greater employment directly for the persons working with these hotels. We are providing employment and growth opportunities for persons involved in ancillary services, such as taxi drivers, farmers who would provide their goods to these, and other persons providing services, tour guides, among other persons with boats who take them on cruises, etc. These are significant opportunities being provided, opportunities for economic development, opportunities for social development. It means you're not providing direct employment for everyone, but you're providing an enabling environment where many persons can now be self-employed and provide for themselves. So those are two areas. And I also said that there's another project, the port, that's currently under construction in Kingston. And one may ask, why are we making such a significant investment in a port? But we have to have a vision. And if we look around the world, trade is improving significantly. And what does that mean? In some instances, there are larger ships moving containers around the world. There are more ships moving containers. And let's bring this home to the St. Vincent environment. I am certain if you go on the road, there are numerous trailers being moved on the road. Most of them would stand up because we say, they drive and they approach us in a very aggressive manner. But more importantly, they are moving goods for Vincentians. It means that we must have a facility where these goods can move in a very efficient way. And the port, I'm certain, at Upper Kingston was developed in the 1970s. We are in 2025. We must focus on the present, but more importantly, how are we going to be part of trade globally going forward? So we need infrastructure for that. And this is a government with a vision and a focus on giving access to St. Vincent, enhancing trade in St. Vincent, enhancing economic opportunities in St. Vincent and the Grenville. And the port is one such infrastructure, coupled with the Argyle International Airport.
Okay, so you're zeroing in on at least those three. I think on another occasion you're probably going to more.
I'm another two.
All right, you have 5 more minutes to give us another two.
Yes. The other two I'll give you, housing, this government, and even before burial, there's a lot of work being done as a result of burial because we suffered from a Category 5 hurricane that resulted in extensive damage, particularly in the southern Grenville, but also here on the mainland. This government has taken the stance that it's not going to give you a few pieces of material in the majority of cases. It's not just going to give you a few coins in your pocket or a few dollars. It's actually going to take a step where it's going to deliver from a holistic standpoint by rebuilding or repairing the roof of houses that were damaged so that our people here can be back in the circumstances of where they were prior to the storm, and in some instances their circumstances will be better and improved. That's a significant achievement for any government. Here in South Leeward, I am aware that over 100 houses has already been repaired. And if we had more workmen, if we had more machinery, we would have done more. Yes, they're not just giving you materials, but over 1,000 persons also access material just here in South Leeward alone. And prior to that, the government embarked on a number of housing projects. There's one here in Clare Valley, what they call the low income. But what it meant is that public servants could access financing and be able to afford a home at an earlier occasion than they would have in the past. No longer are you waiting until you're almost 50 or 60 to own a home. But you could be in your 20s, you could be in your 30s. And if you're a public servant or someone with a steady job, you can access finance, move into your home early. Yes, pay for it over your lifetime, but also enjoy it for that lifetime. That's a significant achievement for the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And the last one I will touch on is roads. Yes, we get a lot of complaints about roads, but if you drive between Kingston and Leeward, along the highway.
Main roads.
The main road. It's a fantastic highway. There is very little, if any, pothole on that highway. And yes, this is a duty of the government to provide infrastructure to to facilitate the people going to their homes, facilitate them going to work, facilitate them going on their day-to-day activities. And you want to enjoy good roads. But in every situation, even in your household, you have a limited budget. A budget of a country is no different. Roads are very expensive, so you cannot put roads everywhere all at once. There has to be a plan where you roll out the development of the infrastructure over time, and hopefully you're able to provide most people with a good motorable road. But the government has done significant work in these communities in South Leeward and throughout the length and breadth of St. Vincent. We also live in a tropical country where we have a lot of weather systems. So sometimes as soon as you finish fixing the road, you get a serious weather system such as burial that damage that infrastructure. You may have just spent a few $1 million. You now have to go and locate money again, get money from a source again to repair that road. It means, therefore, that you cannot necessarily at that same time expand other roads. But I know it's a demand of our people, including our farmers who want access roads, feeder roads to their farms so that it is easier for them to bring their produce out of the farms. It is easier to them to take in tools, implements, fertilizer, etc. to the farm. And that's important as well because we need to feed our nation. We need to export the excess. But I think it's close to your break, so I will take a pause here and perhaps we'll continue after the break.
But I would just say one interesting thing though. I would have never thought of adding roads as one of the accomplishments. Never would have thought of that.
I still say that. I want to say this. If you go to Antigua and Barbuda, which is seen as the largest economy in the OECS, even accessing some of the premium properties, the hotels and so forth in Antigua, they are dirt roads. They are dirt roads. At least up to a few years ago when I went to Antigua, they are dirt roads. So this country, and Antigua is flat and is not as impacted by the climate and weather systems as St. Vincent and the Grenville. So I think we have to put it in context as well. But we can continue the discussion after the break.
All right, sure. All right. So for those of you on the live, we are going to end the live at this time and we'll be back with the part 2 in about roughly 10 minutes. All right. As the time here in SPG, it is 8:30 and it's time for our quote desk.
Need a little cash to hold